Hey, dolls.
Hi,
We're
dolls.
live.
I am trying to figure something out because someone DM'd me, and I think by mistake I deleted it. But I did respond, I think, on my iPad. No, I didn't, and I meant to respond. I think I deleted it, and I don't want her to think I'm rude. But she gave me this new person to follow, and that's what I was looking for before we started the podcast. That's all about like carnivore, primal bod, all that kind of stuff. And there's some interesting stuff. Now, again, like I said, let me preface it. I need to do a deep dive first, and I always go on both sides of the aisle before I offer my own interpretation. Might not be your interpretation, but my own interpretation. But anyway, I'm like a little angry at myself.
There's also the, I guess it's, anecdote, to note that like not everything is going to work for everybody. So I think it's really important in anything that we talk about, right? It's like it's never going to be one size fits all.
Everybody's
Makeup,
DNA is
beauty,
like
diet.
Everything's different.
If you're Emily and I, you forget it. You got every health problem in the world.
I am like, for lack of a better terms, a junkyard dog.
I wish I could be.
I am a junkyard dog. And that's, I love all dogs. More than people most of the time. But I'm a junkyard dog because
you really feel.
I can like handle anything, eat anything.
And you don't get bloated. You don't get
I
any.
get a little bloated now. I mean, it's postmenopausal, you get bloated, but because you think you can still eat as much as you did. And the only thing I'm allergic to, you want to know what I'm allergic to?
What?
And then I'll get back to it. We just kind of jumped into this and we didn't even say who the heck we even are. I am allergic to the monosodium glutamate and the stuff that they put on lettuce. Stay fresh.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, sorry, Anna. I can't talk to you now.
I would have bet that was Bob.
No. I called her. All right. So, hi, dolls. I'm Dr. Doris Dalton. If you are new to our channel, welcome in. We love new dolls to the Doll Squad. And my sidekick over here,
Lee. Hi.
Lee Griffin. And Lee, we had a hell of a week.
I know. I gotta be honest. I don't know how you're awake right now. I don't know how you're standing. I really don't.
I told you it catches up to me like a couple days later.
Yeah.
This morning was tough to get out of bed, but my dogs were barking because we have renovations going on in our backyard. We've had a swimming pool. It's 25 years old, and for 7 years we had to close it because our dog had laryngeal spasms, and if she went into the water, she would have drowned. So we weren't able to open up our swimming pool, and it turned into a frog
home.
A frog. So you would sit outside, and they're so loud. The frogs.
Are they?
Oh my gosh! Like people were like, "What is that?" It's so loud. So when it came time, we had to redo the pool because even when you don't open it, the equipment, everything, and the tile, it's shut. So we had to redo it. And you guys will love this story, but there was a shit ton of frogs. Like, I'm not even kidding.
Didn't Bob try to save a lot of them?
He saved every frog.
That's so sweet, Bob.
Bob went in there, ruined a pair of sneakers with buckets, and put them in the buckets, big bullfrog, little frog, everything. And we took them down to the pond, down the street.
Did you get that on video?
Frogs everywhere. It was the funniest thing. No, he got really mad when I was taking pictures. It was like Bob the Frog Avenger or whatever. So we saved, but here's the funny thing is, as we were doing, waiting, we didn't cover the pool or anything like that because why? It was just going to get drained.
Yeah.
Some frogs found it. And Lily, that's my lab. She's going to be 2 in about 2 weeks. That's Tito's girlfriend, by the way. Tito's over here. She's obsessed with the frogs. They're her buddies. And I'll go like this, "Aww. Lily, where's Freddie?" And she'll run right to the thing, and then she just sits by the pool and just waits. And she knows where Freddie is, but Freddie's
That's really funny.
Freddie had to be rehomed.
Oh, she's going to be missing them.
Well,
She got your foxes, though. You got a whole zoo back there.
Wait, there's something weird happened with the fox.
What?
Well, it's not really weird, but it's my own fault. But so I feed the fox.
You train them to expect food?
So yesterday, Lily's out there. Now, not Nugget, because Nugget went after the raccoon. I hear she's like, there's a bunch of fox back there, but there were some babies. I started like giving them chicken legs, raw chicken legs. You should never give a fox or raccoon any of them cooked, because cooked chicken, even if you throw in anything, because that can splinter. But raw chicken, it's malleable.
I did not know that.
Not that I'm a plethora of knowledge about
Makes
feeding
sense,
foxes, but I just started feeding her because she had a broken leg and she had babies, and I was like, I couldn't imagine with a broken leg trying
How'd
to
you
hunt
know,
down
though, that
something.
she had a broken leg?
Because I watched her.
Oh.
I started feeding her because I watched her trying to hunt with the leg up like this, and I was like, well, how's she gonna feed them babies?
Oh.
So I fed her.
I didn't know she had a broken
All
leg.
of her
I
friends
missed that
came, the
part.
whole family. The Foxy family came.
The foxy.
The Foxy family came. So now, yesterday, last I feed him around 5 o'clock when I get done work.
Yeah.
Between 5 and 6. And she's standing inside the gate at the fence.
Waiting for you.
Waiting for me yesterday. Bob goes, that's not good. What are you going to do if you're not here? They're going to. I was like, oh, shut up.
Bob.
Anyway,
You got to get Bob on the podcast one day.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't even talk. He's so funny. He's a funny guy. You can't have two of the same. I don't want to be like him, and he doesn't want to be like me.
You guys are very opposite. Brian and I are too, though. We couldn't be any more opposite.
Polars.
Polar.
I mean,
Emily, what about you guys? You opposite? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you got. So everybody needs an audience. That's what I mean.
Why? What do you mean by that?
Well, you have the loud one and you have the quiet one, and the loud one is the one that needs the audience. The quiet one doesn't need an audience.
That's
It's
true.
kind of like an adage. You know me and my
I know.
adages.
That's a good adage. It's true.
But,
Look how
all right.
windy it is outside.
It is windy. It's supposed to be shitty all week, but next
great.
week is supposed to be fantastic. And okay, listen.
You know what? I told you this yesterday. I got my blood work results back and my aluminum's high, and she said that she's seeing that a lot in people in New York because of what's going on in the air, what they're spraying in the air. She said she has a patient that's a dog walker, and her aluminum levels are 6 times what's allowable.
Well, they are spraying aluminum up there. It's this whole initiative that people aren't even really talking about. These, they think that they're contrails. So there's a big difference between a contrail and a chemtrail.
Never even heard of a contrail.
Well, yeah. If you ever watch like the big jets that are up there, a contrail is when you kind of get like it's like a water vapor that actually.
But that's
is like,
very different than what we're seeing.
It's incredibly different.
Yeah.
They don't stay all day and then spread out, and then the next day it's gray and raining. And they don't crisscross each other like that either, but because flight paths don't typically go like that. But yeah, they're spraying. They are doing this stuff to reflect the sun and cool the planet.
Oh Lord! All right. On that note,
Listen, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. Like I said, I do my homework. Before I open my mouth. If I don't know what I'm talking about, I close my mouth because I pretty much don't like to be, give bad information. I don't like to spread bad information. So I make sure that before I speak,
But you know
what
what?
I'm talking
I
about.
think you're right, and I agree with you on that. You definitely do. I do find it interesting though, just having like read through comments and whatnot. Like, this is like an experiment in humanity, right? Like, it doesn't matter whether your information is good, bad, factful, lies, truth, not truth. People believe what they want to.
Oh, sure.
And what makes them feel good.
Yeah.
And that goes, to anything. Food. What we're talking about, the sky.
Well,
like,
when they sit there and they say people want to stand in their truth, and whatever their truth is, they believe what they want to believe. A lot of people don't want to believe that they've been lied to.
Yeah.
That's really painful.
Oh, I got an adage for you.
What's
It's
the adage?
easier to fool a man than to convince a man he's been fooled. Man, woman, anybody.
Oh, it's easier. It's easier to give them
The lie.
untruths than to say I've been lying to you now for the last, decade. But there's a lot of weird things, I think, once you start, like, opening up your mind and your eye, it's like crazy things starting to happen. But anyway, let us recap this week.
Yes, go for it.
And it's not even over yet because I have a show tomorrow night. So we had our big Today Special Value at QVC, and it was wildly successful. So I am incredibly honored. These applauses to everyone here. It's interesting too because that it's always nerve-wracking. I'm not even going to lie about it. It's really nerve-wracking when you have so much on the line. And being self-funded, this is, our business, and we're not like, well, if it doesn't work, it's okay. I'm still going to get a paycheck. That's, you want these things to do well. But more importantly, I think that I was more excited that people got it and saw the vision that we see. It's not even so much, hey, we sold a lot. We did sell a lot, not going to lie. But it's more like I'm more excited to see one review's already in there. It's a 5-star.
New really customers excited. Into the
new
brand.
New customers into the brand. New visibility.
The mission, the ethos,
everything about the brand. And I really tried this Today Special Value in QVC. It's the biggest platform, really, I think, to hear your voice, to really talk about the brand. I really wanted to get the message through that why we all, and when I say me, I know that's a bad thing, but we
have bad.
We have an incredible team, and you're
the founder.
But you're the co-founder. Like, you're in there. Like, Emily's here. She does all of the graphics.
Emily's the third leg of the stool.
Yeah, and there's so many legs of the stool here that everyone believes in the same thing that we believe in, or they wouldn't be working here. But it was one of those things. It was like, I wanted to make sure that everybody understood our mission and why, when I decided to create a brand, which was nuts, P.S. and by the way, even my mother said, "You're nuts." And I
Joanne.
I said, well, whether it helps one person or two people or whatever, it's just kind of where I feel like I'm driven to. I was paying attention to ingredients back then. And it wasn't about, let me just do a foundation or let me create this. It was all about conditioning where it was, looking at ingredients. And it was one of the things that I really wanted to be really clear about that. And I don't know how some people do it. And maybe they don't have the same conscience level that we all here have.
I would say they probably don't, especially in the beauty industry.
If
they probably don't.
I knew that I was putting out a product that had questionable ingredients and that you were putting it on your daughter or your granddaughter or yourself, and I knew that maybe that's not the best ingredient and I'm letting people slather themselves with it, I would never be able to sleep at night.
Yeah, I think you bring up a good point.
Never. You know that too. You're even more
psycho about it. I know.
Honestly, well, you have a lot of issues with a lot of stuff personally, but if I just sat there and said, "Oh, yeah, well, that's a possible toxin, that's a possible endocrine disruptor that can create hormone issues. It's a cancer causing." I say, "Oh, don't worry about it. Yeah, let's just put it in."
And you know what I find pretty annoying, and I'm interested in your opinion and Emily's, like, the brand ethos is so important, and we as a company are so committed to it. And it really is frustrating for me when people are like, "Oh, clean is a marketing buzzword," or "clean is not easy." It's like, really? Then why don't you come sit in one of our PD meetings where we have to say, this company can't do it because we can't comply to your do not use. This manufacturer can't do it because your do not use list is too long, right? Like,
yeah. I was having a conversation with a skincare brand at QVC when we were there on Tuesday, and we were talking about that, and they said, "Oh yeah, well, we were talking about the whole SPF thing."
Oh, that's right.
Which I'm so over it. Like, I don't care what you say now. I don't care who come. I don't even read it anymore. I said what I had to say. I stand with what I had to say. I'm very comfortable with what I had to say, and if you don't agree with it, people just want to bark. And
Yeah,
if you
it's
want to
okay. We
bark,
still love you.
yeah.
You know, we can have conversations in this world without deciding we hate each other.
Yeah, open dialogue is really important. But
It is.
we started talking. They said we were talking about clean beauty, and I was telling them why it was really important. I mean, as a cancer survivor, first and foremost, after you find out that you have that, it's probably the worst words that you'll ever hear in your life. You have cancer,
Yeah.
and because your life flashed, you don't know what it means. How long am I going to live? What's the you don't know anything, so it's devastating, and the treatment's pretty shitty. So it's one of those things, and you start looking at it, and they're like, yeah, well, clean. We started talking about clean it like Sephora.
Yeah.
What that meant, and then we started talking about how in the EU and that it's very different. There's over 1,300 banned ingredients.
Which we are, by the way, EU compliant.
And then I started laughing and I said, the EU list of 1,300 ingredients will make you laugh because ours is, we have a pink list and it's so much more than even what the EU list is. Because even some of those things are questionable. And then also too, what we know, we get what they call safety data sheets and where they've done experimentation and tested these ingredients. And sometimes it can come out later on down the road that something that you believe to be true and safe could be questionable. And we'll
and then you
yank it.
pivot. And then you pivot.
We take it right off. We take it right off the mark. I don't even play around with it.
Yeah.
That's how committed I am to making sure that when I sleep at night, and the same for you, Lee, and put our head down on the pillow, that I've done no harm. And there's so many brands out there that are on the market with marketing, and they're worried about.
I'll give you an example of Doris, how strict she is.
Scary.
So I'm really like a stickler, as Emily and I were just talking about, for gluten, and our products are gluten-free, but you won't even let us call that out because you're like, if there is a chance that there's any kind of cross-contamination in a lab and somebody has a reaction, I can't be responsible for that. So I am not putting that on our packaging. Yeah, that's what a stickler you are for these things. But I do think it's important because it goes back to like, how are you modulating, right?
Well, I'm just not here to sell you something, ready? Like, I think there's so many checks and balances
Instagram
with
does
companies.
it enough.
And they're just here and they act like your friend and we have this community, and then they're giving you crap. Like, I have a problem with that.
Or they don't care. Yeah.
I have a problem with saying, oh yeah, well, I have this really great blush and I care about you. But then I read the ingredients and I'm like, do you? Do you care?
No, I don't think that a lot of people do, Doris. I think for a lot of
I have a problem with
people in business,
anyway.
right? And I think it's why things can be more difficult for you sometimes because you are one of the most principled people I've ever met, is that people don't care. They don't give a shit. They just want to make a sale.
Crazy, right?
And they don't care, but it's like, what's the ripple effect of that?
But anyway, that was my favorite takeaway from Tuesday.
It was one of mine too.
Was just because most of the time, like when you're on those platforms, you're on for a period of time. You ever know it like starts and stops, and there's so much that you have to get out and say and whatever. And then when you have a little bit of time, you can talk. When you have a little bit of time and you're not so worried, okay, it's start and stop and this and that. So that was one of my favorite things. Other than that, it was like a really killer day. I was loving how all the models were posting stuff really cute.
I know, that was so cute, that TikTok that they did in the powder.
They did that in the powder, and then they were doing all kinds of stuff. And the vibe, the Doll 10 vibe there was strong.
It was strong.
Super strong. It was really, and everybody's like, are you tired? And I was like, I think I was like just tapped into everyone else's energy.
You were going on a little adrenaline too, I bet.
Yeah. I mean, it was just, their energy was just like, it was there. I am tired today though. It usually catches up to me like 2 or 3 days later, but it's good. It's good.
It's got to make you feel good though. That is so much blood, sweat, and tears, right? But then when those reviews start coming in, and we say this, but it's true.
It was a 5-star, so I was pretty happy.
Them, right?
I do read them. I sometimes I have to bite my go. Don't respond. I'm like, my mom always used to say this, like, ready? If you're pissed off, write it and don't hit send. I'm like,
It's true.
And then write it again. And she said, and then delete it because then it will be lessened. But it's really funny. But it was an amazing day. We launched a lot of new on the day. And the mascara sold out.
Which is so awesome. I love that mascara.
Yeah, all of it. So
looks so pretty on air, Em.
yeah. Oh, that
Bright pink.
It was really. It was good. It was good. There was just so many wins for the day. Like it was just a really good. I didn't get home till like 2. I didn't have any gas in my car to like creep to the Wawa. Like
wait, where's there a Wawa near there? I would have gone for some coffee. Oh, you went all the way over there.
Yeah. Well, on 202 on the way back.
Yeah.
But it was like there I am, 1 o'clock.
I love Wawa. Can I just say that? I love their coffee.
Wawa did. Wawa's it's all company owned. It's not independent. They're not franchised. It's all owned by a company. That's why they're around the way they are. 7-Elevens are
franchised.
Yeah. And that's why you can go into a good one. You can go to one that looks like it not so good. But I will tell you, here's my funny story. I always have a funny story.
Is it about Bob?
No.
Oh.
It's about Tuesday. So I had these shoe boots on, just little heel.
They were so
little
cute.
Shoe boot. They were really cute, little zips, just enough to give you a little bit that you were like this.
Yeah.
You were just kind of like that. So I had them on from 6 o'clock in the morning till after midnight, right?
How you did
because
that.
we were going like every hour. Like there wasn't any sit down time. Like it was like another coffee, bring another coffee, another coffee, another coffee. Like I was going like that. When I finally took off my shoes at midnight, I still can't feel my toes.
Really?
They're so numb. I've got like like this paresthesia happening where it's like.
What does that mean?
It's numb. It's numb.
Oh
it's
God.
like this numbness, both my right toe more than my left toe, but I'm like, I can't feel my.
I think our coffee's here.
I can't feel my big toes.
I have a question for you though. So what do you think, like, that 30 hours, what is your...
I lived on beef jerky, by the way.
What is your favorite part of doing a TSV? If you could pick one, because it's so much pressure and it's a lot of work.
I think that you have that you get to reach more people.
Yeah.
That you have more eyes. I think a lot of times when you're like in shows and you have hits and you have things like that, that if someone's channel surfing or maybe but like they see you, but that's like a dedicated day to your brand.
Yeah.
And I think that to me, I looked at that day was a really important day to differentiate the difference between Doll 10 and other brands.
You did it. You did such a good job.
That to me was the biggest thing. The rest of it, honestly, sucks because it's really hard.
Yeah,
It's
I mean, give
physically
everybody a visual.
hard.
You're in a building with no sunlight. You barely even ate that day.
I
at
ate
all.
a bag of beef jerky. You would have been so proud, Em. Teriyaki, it was good. Beef tips or something it was. But that's all I ate.
Wait, what's the one you said you have? Chump. I'm going to look that up right now. on
No, these
Amazon.
weren't chomps. They were steak tips from Sam's Club. Those
I'm
steak
looking it up
tips.
right now.
They were so good. I just took them as a snack because you have to be really careful when you have to pace yourself energy level wise. If you start eating a lot of carbs and sugar, you'll crash with the carbs and sugar. So if you ever look at me, I barely eat on a TSV day because I don't want my energy going to digestion. And whatever I eat is typically protein just to kind of fill the abdominal emptiness. So, and then I drink a lot of coffee, but I love coffee. That's probably my crux in life is that I love coffee so much. It's not good for you to drink that much coffee.
I heard a really sad video about coffee the other day. We'll have
I
to
know
cover that in
it
another
raises your
podcast.
cortisol and it makes you fat. Is that it?
Well, no, it was more than that, but it was upsetting. But again, I feel like
raise your
this is
insulin, which
this
is
is
your
Instagram and this is
Then it has
TikTok and
full
the
of-
internet.
it's full of
You can
mold.
find one thing that says A and one thing that says Z. So it's like, really?
What? Tell me.
You gotta just do your
Don't
homework.
tell me. I just got one. What? No, just tell me.
Yeah, I mean
Shit.
I'm getting
full
one
of
too.
mold?
But you have to be full of mold,
Yeah, well,
and
all coffee
it
beans
goes
are full of
to
mold.
the toxin that it produces goes
Yeah.
right to your liver and your bladder.
Oh yeah, yeah, it's
And-
toxic. But then you can have people say, "Well, coffee's really good for you because, it does this
and
or
what
that
caffeine
within
does to your
moderation.
adrenals and stuff. I think because I'm
Caffeine's
just
terrible.
Listen, just so everyone has some context as to what are you talking about. Emily and I both think we have. Emily does. I think I do have non-celiac gluten sensitivity. Basically, makes you feel like shit all the time if you literally have a speckle of anything with gluten. So I did, and I've been feeling like shit for 3 weeks, and now I'm like, I got to figure out what's wrong with me.
Let me tell you a little bit.
We just can't eat anything.
Let me tell you a little bit of something about gluten here. Really interesting.
And then we were talking about green stick.
And I'm going to talk about the green stick. Let me tell you a little bit about gluten. Here's a really interesting
The
story.
gluten-free green stick.
Before gluten was even really people coming to mainstream, my niece, Brittany.
Oh, this is a good story.
She was, when she was a teenager, 17, 18, 19 years old, she was just getting sick. She had psoriatic arthritis. You wish she get big patches, all that psoriasis in her hair. And she had hair down here, but she's beautiful. This is my brother that passed. This is her daughter. His daughter. And she was really thin, joint aching, just sick. I think by the time she was 18, 19 years old, the gluten allergy nobody tested for gluten back then.
No.
Nobody knew what it was. So here's a really interesting story. She was at the point she was in a wheelchair.
Couldn't walk.
Brittany couldn't walk.
Oh my
There's
Lord.
my brother that had passed. He passed when Brittany was 2-3 years old. And there was his mom, Lisa, who's our sister. And pushing her around in a wheelchair. They all went to Disney. She's in a wheelchair. She's in a physical wheelchair.
So how did she find this out?
There's a neurologist, really, really good friend of mine, great friend of mine, who does a lot of homeopathy, alternative medicine, but she's a neurologist, which is interesting because neurology is one of the, let's talk about the medical hierarchy. Neurologist, brain surgery, probably the top two, right? Hardest, internships, all that other stuff. So, she's super smart. And
Neurologist is the brain?
Your nervous system.
Okay.
And my friend that's a neurologist does all of this really good. She does homeopathy, alternative meds, that kind of stuff. Really big into supplements, but she's a neurologist too. Right?
And usually
so
those two things don't go together because usually they. Right?
She's just probably one of the smartest physicians I've ever met in my life.
Okay.
Super, super smart. Neurology's not easy.
Who is it? You got to drop her name.
Anka Barano.
Okay.
Okay, Dr. Anka Barano. She's in Yardley. She does a lot of testifying. She's freaking brilliant. And I said, I don't know what's going on with my niece. She's been through every MRI, CT scan. She's had more blood drawn than a blood bank. The kid doesn't really eat anything. She's in a wheelchair. She has some sort of autoimmune disease. No one knows what's the matter with her. So she came up and saw Anka, and Anka said, "You have a gluten intolerance. You're eating gluten." And she, my niece used to be a little hellraiser. She'd drink the beer and do all the craziness with the gluten and the wheat and all that shit. So
Hellraiser, I love it.
She went from being in a wheelchair to I think it was maybe 2 or 3 weeks later to being functioning again. Yeah, wow. Gluten. So now she's gluten-free. She eats gluten-free. We always take gluten-free if we go get desserts.
Yeah.
Easton's allergic to eggs, so we always go to that Happy Mixer
bakery
that does gluten, dairy-free, those kind of things. And if she's at a party or something like that and goes, I'm just gonna have a little bit.
She suffers.
She suffers
For weeks.
Yeah.
That's me.
Yeah.
And Emily.
Yeah. Can't get off the gluten. Well,
But I don't.
You know what's
I don't
really
eat
interesting
it.
about gluten? It's like
It's like if you get cross-contaminated.
but water and paste make glue. Gluten is glue. It's not good. It's bad. It's bad for you. But
you know what? It's not the gluten though. We gotta finish this and then we gotta talk about green cream. It's the glyphosate.
Yes, it is the glyphosate.
Gluten is not good, but celiac has, again, it goes back to the 80s. I guess what happened in the 80s where like all the regulations in the government just went out the fucking window?
Lobbyists for the chemical companies, glyphosate, Roundup.
It's in everything.
All of that stuff. Yeah. I mean, it's lobbyists to let things through. It's interesting when people go, I read this study. This is why I investigate, okay? They're like, I read this study and what you're saying is wrong, Doris. And I'll go, okay. What study was it? And who funded the study?
Always got to ask who funded the study.
Because people that fund the study are the ones that will give you these results. And they're like, well, that's manipulating data. Well, wake up, people. It's manipulated all the time.
I know.
So you always have to ask yourself, it's funded by the NIH. It's funded by this person. It's funded by that. Well, they're going to leave out all the people that had this reaction and say, there was a study of 30 people and they had no reaction. Maybe the study was 130 people.
Yeah. Forget it. That's a whole nother conversation.
I'm not even going to go down that rabbit hole because I will not.
I know.
We won't
come out. We won't survive it.
I won't survive that one. But that is a fact. And I think you have to look at who funds the studies. And
for everything.
For everything. And I always think, what's that thing? For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. And that is true. But listen, here's the thing. When we talk about gluten, we talk about glyphosate because glyphosate's on all the corn and everything. But really, when you talk about wheats and corns and shit like that, we're meat eaters. We have.
I know you're all in.
I'm almost all in. I'm not completely. My legs are still hanging out of the bunny hole, but these are what they call, these are your canine teeth and the rudimentary canine teeth. If you look at a tiger, rudimentary just means that they're kind of like they existed and over time we no longer, they've kind of the pointness, the sharpness and stuff. So
interesting.
Yeah, so these teeth right here are canine teeth and they're meant to rip and tear meat. Look at a tiger, look at a cat. Look at dogs. They have these pointy, long teeth, and they're meant to rip and tear meat. So we're carnivorous creatures. Listen, here's the deal. It's interesting. Everyone knows that I am a massive animal lover. I am not a vegan.
So we do not and will not test any products on animals.
And we never have.
But we are not
I never
vegan.
have. Yeah.
We're not vegan in terms of how we eat.
Yeah,
products are vegan friendly, but
I'm sorry.
How we
eat. Yes. I'm sorry. All of our products are vegan friendly. I don't believe in testing. I don't believe that I think animals suffer enough. But here's the thing with oats and stuff like that. In order for you to consume an oat, you don't walk out into a wheat field and just eat it. No, you've got to pulverize it, beat it, process it, all that shit before you eat it.
I know it's processed. Yeah,
it's can you processed. Eat oatmeal? No, oatmeal's bad.
I know.
Oatmeal will spike your insulin faster than a candy bar.
Primal Bod, you got that from her, didn't you?
No, that I knew. That I already knew.
She says that. She says oatmeal is so
and
bad.
Then oatmeal has the hull on it like a popcorn does, and it creates leaky gut. Even when people go, why use steel oats? No.
Or organic, still same thing. I know.
And let me tell you something. I love oatmeal.
Do you feel like the paradigm shift happening? Do you feel like the shift happening with people kind of really starting to get all of this stuff and really understand it and how, like, just
yes and no,
all of it?
Yeah. I think people are starting to question. You know what's interesting? I did say this on Tuesday. I think, and I'm going to give props to the younger generation for that. And the internet and the amount of information. When I was Emily's age,
we're living through the Great Awakening.
Francesca's age, I did whatever. I didn't give a shit. I just did, okay, whatever. These girls, if you talk to them, they're so smart. They investigate. They look at ingredients. They understand what's happening in the product. We didn't do that back then. It's just like you got a Swanson dinner and cooked in an aluminum tray. heat it up in your oven. You're heating aluminum
Yeah, but
up,
you didn't
and
have
ate Swanson
you didn't have,
dinners that was all chemicals, and that was a feast.
Yeah, but you
Particularly
didn't
got
have
the
a lot of
mashed
the
potatoes with it.
pesticides and stuff that they use today.
No,
so
that
when
is
you
true.
look at like
That's
your
why
mom,
my son
for
yelled
example,
at me for teaching Easton how to drink out of
but
a hose.
do you know, Doris, that this generation is the first generation, or maybe the second, that is projected to live less. Our lifetime is projected to be less than our parents because
your food sources are
since
so poor,
1986, yep. Well, it's food, it's toxins, it's the medical system, it's so many things. But like when look at somebody like your mom, who's how old?
80. She'll be 83.
Yeah, like
Healthy as can be.
Because
Well, she's not. I mean, don't get me wrong. For
her age, she's
her
healthy as
age,
can be.
For her age, she is. She has more energy than me. Was dancing all around a day, like Mother's Day. She had country music blaring, was jamming all out, and not. I mean, and still mows her lawn. And when I tell you, my mom is like, sometimes when you think of somebody that's going to be 83, you think that they're going to be a little more fragile, and not my mom.
No, it's that generation.
Yeah.
I mean, they had real food.
She makes her own food.
None of the
still, doesn't eat
toxins.
out. None of that. No.
There's a lot to
real
be said for
food.
that.
Yeah, so listen, I'm doing all this research and I will come back and report.
Wait, tell us the story about last night, though. You said you felt like you had gained weight from drinking coffee.
All right, so when I was at Q on Tuesday, you know, it's a long day and you have to do whatever you can to get through it. So they have a Starbucks in QVC's atrium, and I just kept getting. I like a lot of cream in my coffee. As a matter of fact, I'm more about the hot milk and the cream than I am really the coffee's just a flavoring to me. Right? So, I mean, like this right here is a breve, which means that it's this much half and half. So it's incredibly fattening. A lot of fat, I drank like 4 or 5 of them, which means I drank literally about a gallon of half and half. That's a lot. Most people get 2 tablespoons. I drank a gallon. And then I was just eating like beef jerky throughout the day. Because there was nothing really to eat except for pretzels and, that snacky shit. And I'm not eating that.
Yeah.
I'm just not eating that stuff. And so then I got home. And listen, don't do this. What is it? Do as I say, not as I do. I have a scale. I try not to really get on it. I go really gauge more about how my clothing and stuff fits. But every now and then, you just let me think.
You get on and then you probably regret it like me. You're like,
got
why did
on-
I do that?
I was 3 pounds heavier. I was like, what the F? What happened? Shit.
Well, you also you didn't sleep and everything.
I didn't sleep. No, when I got up, after I had a good night's sleep, when I got up on Wednesday, right? I was like, shit. So I was like, okay, no coffee yesterday. I did a tea. And then all I did was eat meat. I ate a pound of bacon and a big steak. No vegetables, no nothing else. Just 2 big old helpings of meat. I lost 3 pounds this morning. Crazy. I think I'm supposed to be a carnivore. I think I'm supposed to be on the carnivore diet. I mean, I do love, and you know what's really interesting too? My friend Anna. That's all she eats is meat.
She's on the carnivore diet too?
What? She's just a carnivore. She's just a meat eater.
I love Anna.
She don't want no salad. I don't want none of that. Just give me a big old steak. Give me a burger.
Oh, steak.
That's what she eats.
I could go for that steak that we love right now.
I made the best steak last night.
How'd you make it?
There is this steak seasoning at Sam's Club, and it's called Kinder's, I think it is called. Is it called Kinder's? Is it? And it's the buttery steak one. Oh, shit. I layer that up.
Really?
Yeah,
You grill
massage
it?
it in. Yeah, I have a grill pan because it was crappy. It was raining. Grill pan. I put the butter all in the grill pan, butter it up, half stick butter. And then you just layer it on, and then I just put some coarse salt and some pepper, and it sears it off. So the key I make the best steak. I'm such a good steak griller because I learned it when I used to do all the food stuff at QVC, right?
Oh, yeah.
The key, if you want to make a good steak, the key is this. Don't flip it. Most people flip.
Really?
Never flip. You take the steak. If you're going to do it in a grill or a grill pan, you do it like that until it sears like that. So I like my meat medium rare. Bob's likes his a little more well done.
Me too. I like mine when we're well done.
So you're about 6 minutes per side. So I time it like this. So it's like here's the marks going this way, and here's my steak, and then you take the steak and you just turn it. And then you get the X grill marks.
Oh.
So, my baby.
Hi, Tito.
That's my Tito. He loved me. And then, after your 6 minutes, just flip it over. Do the same thing. When you flip it multiple times, it makes it tough. Yeah. So good. I watched something on Instagram or TikTok, and I don't know if you guys ever see it. Where do you know what sous vide means? Sous vide when you cook?
No.
So it's a French way of cooking where they put the meat, pork, whatever, in a baggie, and then to cook it, they boil it. Like they don't boil the
Oh, okay. I've heard of that.
They boil it, and so it heats it up by water, and then they usually grill it off. Someone did that in butter. But the steak, it wasn't like sous vide, but they didn't do anything. Did you see
Probably
it where the
tasted
guy,
amazing.
where the guy, like, he cooks his meat in butter, and then he hits it with the grill marks? Could you imagine? I'd probably love it.
You're like a person.
He loves his GG.
All right, so listen, we are coming to
Where
the
did we
end
go today?
because we have to get into
work.
PD, but we did have a couple of questions come in that I was hoping you could answer.
Okay.
So actually, probably we only have time for one, but we launched Green Stick last week, and it's been great, and everybody loves it, and I'm thrilled because I love it. But can you just give a breakdown for us for the difference on Green Stick versus Green Cream? Because they're two very different products. They can be used together.
They can.
If you could just give us a breakdown.
Here's my breakdown, and then you can give your breakdown. So you know that this Green Cream is my baby.
Just let's take it out so everybody can see it.
Green,
I thought you were filming him. Okay, go ahead.
Green Cream is my absolute baby.
You love that.
I do love it, and I love it for a reason, because I have redness in my skin. 85% of us identify of having some sort of redness or sensitivity in our skin. It might even be higher than that. So Green Cream was meant to cancel out the look of redness in your skin, just camouflage it. It wasn't meant to be a mask. It wasn't meant to be a foundation, none of that. But it was also then fortified with ingredients like colloidal oatmeal, cucumber extract, aloe, all of these things to help soothe the area that created this beautiful barrier between your skin and your foundation. Because a lot of times you put on foundation, it sticks in, and you got redness or rosacea or any of that stuff, it can aggravate it. So this was meant to be this soothing, smoothing barrier for your skin. A lot of people, quite honestly, use this just as their foundation.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying that.
I will tell you that every model down at QVC is obsessed with this. So when it comes out, you go, it's green. Who wants green on the face? Green on the opposite of the spectrum cancels red. That's why it's the Green Cream. So when I show you this, it actually starts to...
But watch, it's like magic.
Yeah, it morphs into your actual skin tone. Just like that. It's beautiful. Morphs into your skin tone, cancels out the look of redness in your skin. But it's this soothing, smoothing barrier.
Treatment.
Yes. Now, the Green Cream to me, how I use this, you might use it different, was created to be a spot treatment. Like, it's a primer meant to camouflage that red so you don't have to pile on foundation in a spot. So it's green. It's not really super green when it goes on. It's enough to be this camouflage, but it's also meant to be a primer, again, creating a barrier between, but it's more of a spot treatment.
So the way that I use this is different.
How do you
so
use it?
So this is more of, I prefer this
You put it all over your face,
over Green
don't you?
Cream. And it's a solid serum.
Yes.
So I put it all over my face. I literally draw it on.
Do
like
you?
I stripe it
I spot it.
everywhere.
Okay.
And it's really cooling. So it's like a cryo stick, which is great if you've got that redness in your skin because it just takes out the heat.
Yep.
It's the solid serum, so it's super hydrating, and I find that it just cuts my redness, neutralizes and calms my skin, and then my makeup just goes on so
because it's a primer
much
stick.
better.
I think, to me,
so much better.
It's like a primer stick, and a lot of times...
It's like a cooling, soothing, hydrating primer stick.
Primer stick.
Yeah, color correcting everything. So
So
no
they're very
coverage,
different.
though. There's no
coverage.
This is going to give you some coverage.
This gives you, all right, ready? That gives you coverage. So it's really different. And I think a lot of people are using this now instead of foundations. And particularly now that summer's coming too, this right here will cut their. It doesn't. It's not a
You
mask.
don't need a brush.
It's not,
You can put it on
just
with your fingers.
like you would your moisturizer. But I use this to spot. I've never used it all over.
Oh, I use it all over. I love it.
I'm only red here.
I'm red everywhere.
Are you? My redness is this triangle, pretty big triangle. It's like an obtuse triangle. It's like big. Is here. That's my redness.
Yeah, I'm red all over.
Yeah.
I just love that it's cooling, love that it's hydrating. So just 2 different products. You can use them together if you want. Or, if you're somebody that's like, I don't really want the coverage, go for the green stick. If you do want the coverage, then you go for the green cream.
Clean, easy. I would say, they're way different. They're not even remotely the same.
No, they're both designed for sensitive skin and redness, but definitely different. So before we close, what do you have coming up in the next week? Like, what do you have going on? I know you said Friday you're on air.
Friday, I think I'm on air if we have any inventory left that they're checking on. So that's Friday night in Beauty Revolution. Then next week on Tuesday from 2 to 4, I have the Brow Remedy on 2 to 4 on Tuesday. And
that's the beauty day.
Yeah, and this weekend, nothing.
Oh, that's nice.
I think I'm going to clean my garage because...
Oh, it doesn't sound fun.
No, but it needs to be cleaned because, I take care of the cats and... So, and I'm hoping that when I go home that little birdie is still alive.
I know, me too.
It's making me crazy. But
I know.
I think this weekend I'm just going to chill. I'll probably sleep in a little bit tomorrow, to be real honest. It depends. If they're doing the pool, this is like this 3 to 4 week thing, and God love them. God love these guys because they start at 6 a.m. They don't start at 7, 8, 9. They start at 6, which means these poor guys get up at 5, wherever it is they live, and they come, and they start actually at 6 a.m. My neighbors are going to hate me. I'll give them a pie or something, I guess, but then...
Or a steak. Give them a steak.
I'll make a mistake. But they're at 6 a.m. and then the dogs just bark.
So how much longer do you have for this?
We got a ways to go because the weather's so shitty.
Oh, so you still have a couple more weeks?
Yeah, they got a couple more weeks because it's just shitty out.
A couple more weeks, and then it's going to be Memorial Day.
Yeah, I have a Memorial Day guest.
You do?
I have, someone come and stand at my house on Memorial Day weekend.
Who?
The Tito man.
Oh.
Lily's having a sleepover.
I was like, who are you talking about? I didn't know if you were going to say Easton, but I know he's allergic, so I didn't.
Yeah, no, he's allergic to the dogs. No, I have to go over there, but Tito's coming for a sleepover with his girlfriend.
Oh, you're going to be a very busy Memorial Day weekend.
Tito and Lily will be very busy. They're both fixed, but
now is the pool going to be ready for you for summer? Because your house is not going to be ready from at the shore.
Yeah, it should be ready. It should be ready. They did the tile today.
Oh, good. All right.
It's beautiful. It came out really pretty. I would imagine probably in about 2 to 3 weeks, if the weather was permitting. Next week it's going to be really sunny, so I bet they ramp it up next week.
That'll be nice. Haven't seen the sun in weeks, I feel like.
Next week it's supposed to be beautiful, 70s, sunny, pretty.
Oh, that's going to be great.
It's going to be like
what
this.
a mood booster.
See this? It's going to be this shit until past the weekend.
So depressing is what it is. It's depressing.
You know what's depressing?
What?
When you mop your floor, your backyard's full of mud, and Lily comes running in.
That is depressing.
And you're
I agree with that.
I just wasted an hour of my life cleaning up mud.
That you will not get back.
No, that I will not. Anyway, I don't even know what we talked about today.
We went all over the place.
If whoever inboxed me about the doctor that
was it Dr. Mark Hyman?
I don't know. Let me see. I want to see something.
I doubt it. He's not really carnivore.
No, it was really following. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can put in here. It's terrible. I wish.
All right. Well, we'll post an update to it because we have to have like 4 meetings and we have like 3.5 hours to do that. So.
I wish I could find him because he was really good. I wanted to show you. But if you inbox me and you're watching this and I didn't respond, it was
She deleted it by accident.
By accident because I went to delete one of these
scammers.
Wear my clothes and be a this. I'm like, no, I'm not wearing your clothes and doing anything. But he was really good too. But anyway, that's it for me. You know?
That's it for me too. Listen, we are really grateful to have you here. It's kind of crazy on the podcast. We go all over the place in a million different directions, but we appreciate your feedback, and we always want to know what you want us to talk about. So if there's a topic that you want Doris to cover or discuss, if there's a product that you want us to talk about and discuss, you let us know. We oftentimes don't talk about product in here because we literally go into our PD meeting where we talk about all new product development. It usually lasts about 2 hours.
I think we just like to talk about shit on this podcast.
I know. Well, we do. But
I love that, though.
But we love it. We have fun. But if there's anything that you want us to talk about, let us know. Anywhere you can comment. And as always, we love you. We appreciate you. And we'll see you here next week.
Next week. Be there.